Looks good.
Success. Okay, bear with me. It's 8:30 here on the West Coast. So good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm appreciative of the opportunity to share with you where we're at in BC and what our successes have been, what our challenges are currently and have been, and where we're headed to next. So I guess maybe I'll just start by giving you an overview of this changing. All right. There. Is that, are you on slide 2, the overview?
Danielle, you sounded great at first, but then you started to break up. So I don't know if you moved or something.
I didn't move.
You sound good now. You sound okay now. Yeah.
Okay. So just bear with me. Let me know if you're having trouble seeing my slides. I'm working off of 2 monitors, and hopefully I'm going to do successfully. So I'll just tell you a little bit about our council and some of the factors that we feel contributes to our success, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the challenges that kind of come up with each of these, and then where we're headed to next. So flipping slides. So British Columbia. So I wanted to share, in case you're not familiar with British Columbia, we are the most western province, of course, in Canada. We are 1,600 kilometers long north to south. And I actually looked at that at 800 miles. Usually I don't have that conversion. So we're 95,000 kilometers place. We're greater than 27,000 kilometers of coastline, which is 16,000 miles. And we have just over 5 million people in British Columbia, and we supply 5% of the world's freshwater supply. So we are the largest provincial invasive species in Canada. We focus on education, outreach, training, cross-border collaboration across Canada and also internationally. And we are a founding member and chair of the Canadian Council on Invasive Species. Our mission is to take action to build health landscapes, habitat, and communities through education and responsible practices to prevent spread of invasive species. We pride ourselves on working, our board has based on 3 chambers. Each chamber has a specific interest to help it ensure that we've got a very diverse board. So the community chamber, and within that we've got community partners, recreation, tourism, environmental and conservation interests, as well as research and education. We also have business and agriculture. So of course that includes agriculture, natural resources, trade and retail, transportation, utilities. And then in our government chamber, we have Indigenous, federal, provincial, and local governments. And all of these help to provide the direction of our board. And by having it separated into different chambers, it really helps to make sure that we've got a wide array of interests covered. So that's our directors, of course. We meet in group days a year. There is our staff, and our staff is located. Our staff is located throughout the entire province. So we have staff in the northern, more east and Cariboo region. We've got staff in the lower Canadian region, in the Vancouver Island region. Basically, our motto is that we try to ensure that we've got the right staff for the job rather than the right staff for the right. So that's been something that's been really helpful to us. We are an entirely virtual staff, so we do actually have an office in Williams Lake, and we have our admin staff and our executive director there, but the vast majority, I think 19 out of 24 staff, are located in their home offices throughout the province. First, we work in British Columbia, and our key programs is, of course, change behavior, and within that is Clean and Dry, PlantWise, and their programs, and I'll go into a little bit more information about those programs. And then we also work with a number of other partners to develop different resources for Buy Local, Burn Local, Play Clean Go, and Don't Let It Loose as well. And part of our success here is working on these programs. We develop them, we develop the resources, but we've also been able to support other groups throughout the province to take on these programs and to extend these programs even wider, knowing that we can't do it all. So we moved to community social marketing and change behavior back in 2011. So we recognized that all of our education programs were just trying to create awareness, and understanding wasn't enough. So we created new behaviors and targeted to different key audiences, and that's what all the programs are focused on. And they seek a commitment by individuals to make sure that you manage measuring the change. And it sounds like a lot of you are doing the same kind of thing. So we do have, here's our Clean, Drain, Dry program. In 2011, we initiated the first invasive species related change in behavior program in Canada. And we worked with water-based recreationists to stop the spread of invasive aquatic species. And it's evolved over time, and it's now throughout the province. And 10 years later, we're into the second year of a 3-year national Clean, Drain, Dry pilot program with the Canadian Council. It's funded by Fisheries and Oceans Canada. And we work with the National Aquatic Working Group, and we've piloted 4 and finalized 2 clean, drain, dry signs for installation at different water bodies across the province. We're able to offer these signage and resources out to anyone that has a need or can demonstrate that they've got a location on a water body that requires signage, just to make sure that we're making sure that everybody has the resources needed. We've got a number of different resources, including the rat cards, decals, and floating keychains. And we've also, just this last year, developed 4 social media videos, and we have 2 commercials that are airing currently, and we have another one slated for next year, which is new. It's a new development for us, getting into that more digital social marketing kind of online presence. The commercials is definitely new for us, so there's lots of learnings there. And then just here is just some of our resources that we've developed throughout this pilot program. I would love to show.
Voting can be so awesome. I didn't know that's running outside the Wi-Fi range. Absolutely. So we make sure to remind our parents to continue to die. Yeah, to make sure you don't still invaders. Yeah, just because it's too small to see doesn't make them any less dangerous.
Did someone say evil invaders? Good job, Captain Splash!
Whoa, that costume's tight.
Thanks, kid.
So darn. Never mind. Alright, Captain Splash, you know that we can handle this ourselves.
Kids handling evil invaders? You don't even know what you're getting yourself into here.
Simple, clean, and
I don't follow.
I thought superheroes were just sleep.
Gotcha, kid.
Easy to including that the easy steps you had to turn off in species.
Are these some sort of powers?
Actually, no, they don't require any superpowers. Here, how about we do? First, add water, clean off your boat, and I'll get my captain moves anything he sees clean to the boat and check that should be there.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
Except it's drain all the water from our boat and everything on it.
That must call for superhuman strength to lift the boat and dump it out.
Nah, once you're on dry land, you really just need to remove up drain plugs for a bit and dump stuff out, away from the water.
For the record, I do have superhuman strength.
Yeah, you and every other hero. Don't forget the final step. Dry everything completely before heading into a different body of water. I like to just lay everything out in the sun and relax until everything is totally dry.
Oh, that sounds too easy.
It is easy. You just gotta be thorough.
Wise words. Well, I am pleasantly surprised. Seems like the three of you are more than capable of fighting these invaders without me. If you'll excuse me, I'm off to help others in need. Farewell, heroes of tomorrow!
Goodbye, Captain Splash. And don't forget.
Clean, drain, dry. Don't worry, easy to remember.
Okay, so hopefully that came through okay. That was our longer social media campaign. We do have a 30-second of that for TV. I just wanted to note, I'm not able to see any chats or any comments. So please feel free, if you've got a question, just feel free to shout it out.
Danielle, we had some audio issues.
Oh no.
They start to clear up, and you sound okay now, so don't move or anything. I don't.
My apologies.
Well, you're a long way away.
Danielle, also, you did call in through the internet, so if it does get really bad, maybe if using the call in by phone option could clear it up.
Sure, I can do that. Do you want me to stop now and do that, or?
Well, you sound good now. Maybe moving forward, we'll interrupt if it starts getting real bad again.
Okay, thanks, Carrie. We'll do our best. So this is just a map of the location of all the signs that we have throughout the province. We have nearly 200 signs that we put up over the last couple of years. Nearly 300 over the last couple of years of the project throughout the province, with another year pilots. We will still have some signs left over going forward, and we anticipate to have up hopefully close to 600 signs by the end of the project. Were there any questions before I move on about clean, drain, dry? Maybe I'll just hold those
Danielle, I don't see questions.
Okay, super. Thanks, Phil. So PlantWise is one of our other changing behavior programs, and this program, we work with industry partners and gardeners. We started out developing this program for gardening and those backyard gardeners, and quickly realized that there's such a strong link to the supply and demand that we couldn't just target that one audience alone. We really needed to work with industry partners as well. There's that, gardeners rely on, and we've completed surveys on this, gardeners rely on their garden center to be that knowledge base and to be the ones that can advise them as to what they should and shouldn't be purchasing. So we needed to really work with industry as well. And we ended up working with retailers, landscapers, and growers, just because that's, of course, the whole chain. Landscapers are an easier sell because they're the ones that are oftentimes the ones that are tasked with pulling out the invasive species or maintaining them, whereas growers, they're often being asked to supply these species. So it really is a supply and demand chain. We have a number of partners throughout the province as far as industry, and we work with those folks to provide them with resources and education for their staff, and then we post and share their participation. We have a beplantwise.ca website, as well as on social media, just to really try to promote their support of being invasive free. We have been able to, since then, adapt and upwise the program, or update the program. And we've been working with and supporting the Canadian Council on the development of a new national voluntary code of conduct, which is 11 best management practices for industry related to growing, selling, and specifying non-invasive plants, as well as including correct labeling of plant material. So that's been really exciting and has been a learning experience too, because of course doing it provincially is very different than doing it nationally. So we've got a very active youth volunteer program. We've been running this just over a year, and it's been It's been amazing. We've got such a dynamic, fun group of individuals. They work to identify and address invasive species challenges and build healthy habitats in their communities and reconnect youth with their sense of community. So definitely they're tasked with doing a lot of on-the-ground work. Obviously, it's been quite a bit of a challenge this season. This is our opportunity to get outside Beetles and to interact with the public, and we really had to take a lot more virtually, which has been a success, I think, but it's also obviously been a challenge. As I'm hearing, it's been, adapting our ways. It's been a challenge for the majority of us. So we have over 100 youth right now that are volunteering 3 different regions throughout the province, as well as really active virtual youth groups. So we are just starting to get back out and do some more on the ground volunteer projects. But we have done virtual art sessions where, we've got young artists that teach others how to paint or draw invasive species, virtual training sessions. We've got Instagram and Facebook Live to Take Action Tuesdays. The group has been really innovative in working in this dynamic situation. So one of our key directions is leading through partnerships. And partnerships are really fundamental to how our organization works. I know I'm not on video today, but you can see that's me with the white shirt on in the front, doing self with everyone. So we work with our partners to identify different council directions that really help to lead and shape where we're going with council, and also the development and training and program needs. We take a lot of input from our board, but also from the public and our membership to kind of drive our direction. And training is, I mentioned industry training, that's been a big piece for us. And we work in collaboration with multiple training partners. We take input from them on what they want, what the need is on the ground. And then we provide that training, and it's been a big success for our council, and something that we're continuing to grow and broaden out. We provide training in best management practices for numerous different sectors, including forestry, BC parks, oil and gas, weeds and roads, and pesticide applicator courses, as well as for the real estate industry and agriculture sector and more. We're just looking at, typically we've been doing all of our training in person, and hope has kind of pushed us to get out more into that virtual world. We've known we need to go there, but it's not a quick overnight change, as I'm sure you can all appreciate. So we're definitely making strides to move there, but it's been a challenge, but it's also somewhere that we recognize we need to go. So here's just one of our, I'm not going to go through, it is available on our website. It's our invasive species and forestry training that we've developed, and we've had quite a bit more requests for industry training come up in the virtual world. So we've been shifting rapidly, but not without a lot of learning along the way. So we also provide monthly webinars and focus different training and online. So we usually aim for about 10 different webinars a year, and we have Invasive Species Action Month in BC, which is in May, and we aim for 4 to 5 different webinars in that month alone. So I'm just trying to make sure that it's a broad array of different topics and presenters. Others are focused more on, youth volunteer or activities. So it's been exciting and to do. Here's just a few of our webinars that we've worked on, including Atlantic salmon in the Pacific, stopping invasive species in Washington. Justin Bush joined us. From canines to highway signs, so just updates on BC's muscle defense primary British Columbia. So you can tell very read. just wanted to touch on this. This has been a big success for us. Is I mentioned the partnerships that we work on, and this has been kind of one of the really big successes as far as partnerships. We've been able to be really responsive to new incursions and collaborations. So in 2018, Japanese beetle was detected in Vancouver, and we were asked by the federal government and the provincial government to act as project facilitator. So we brought a number of key partners, including the feds, the province, municipality, and industry groups, to eradicate this species from Vancouver and prevent the spread of it into the rest of BC. So we provided, and we continue, this is the third year, we provide a key role in education and outreach to the public. And that also means that each field season, we hire 2 Japanese beetle ambassadors, and they go out and they leave door hanging information on people's doors that are in the regulated area. We have an online hub on our website. We've developed resources, including road signage, etc. And to date, the Japanese beetle partners have received three different awards, including a Premier's Award, a Federal Award, and then also our own Invasive Species Action Award. So that's been really, really cool. This is, you can see, here's our 2 Japanese summer students from last year with their Beetle mobile. They were pretty proud of this. So, not take up too much more time here, but I just wanted to touch on our networks. We have an Indigenous Invasive Species Network that we host. So it has over 215 subscribers to it, all from Indigenous bands and nations. And they participate in regular conference calls, and they identify and review different resources that need to be developed or are underway for Indigenous youth and educators and others, and provide input into those program development needs. As well, we have a local government invasive species network, and they function much the same way. It's local governments from throughout the province that have some kind of interest, or maybe invasive species are just starting to get on their radar. Maybe they're well versed in it, but they are, it's a listserv where they use it as a method to communicate with each other and to ask questions, to look at different bylaws and amending them and what everybody else is doing, and just to kind of that back and forth and ask questions. So that's been super successful and is continuing to grow. There's currently 130 members on that. And then we also have an affiliate network. So we are BC's provincial charity, and within BC there are 13 different to your PRISM approach. So currently there are 8 out of 12 regional committees that are potential or that are affiliate members right now. And the intent of having this network is so that when we go to governments in BC, we have common shared voluntary voice in invasive species prevention and management. So there's not 13 different organizations going to them with requests, but just on with a collective voice, and that's very helpful. So looking forward, I'll touch on that to fire up. And research is a big area that we're starting to dive into a little bit more. We've been doing research symposiums every 2019, 2011, 2017. We were supposed to be delivering another in-person one this year. However, of course, we had to shift that until August 2021 next year, but we will be doing a mini online 3-hour virtual symposium. And then we're also diving into some impacts of invasive species on species at risk. Species at risk in British Columbia, there's funding available, but there's very hard to find the linkage. I think we all know that there is a very strong linkage, but it's hard to find the scientific research on that. So we're diving further into that. And we are going to be continuing to build and expand our suite of training resources. And we're looking into extending our volunteer program over the next few years. So a lot of exciting stuff underway, lots of learnings and challenges along the way, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.